Hello, my fiery friends. Welcome to another awesome and fiery fun stream. I am your host, the Infernoman here, and hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you are at. So, real quick disclosure right now. This one's going to be a bit on the shorter side, only because literally I am squeezing in any possible time I can right now do before Mrs. Inferno actually comes off of work again. So, once again, while she is going to be coming back soon, we're going to just literally be on borrowed time until she comes back. So, what exactly will we be playing until I actually have to just go off abruptly? Well, I'm glad you asked. So, let's not waste any more time today. We're going to jump right into it and explain to you exactly what we're going to be playing this evening. So, without further ado, join me today in the Brawl format for a deck that's based around another one of the most popular characters from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Toph here, the first Metalbender, in a deck that I'm simply calling Toph Rocks. That's right. Literally going to be all the artifacts, some mana rocks, and we're going to just try to make everything into lands. That's what we're going to be doing today. You could say we could be rocking it tonight. Okay. So, in all seriousness now, let's go over the stats of the deck, because as always, long-term viewers of the channel know how we do it. We're going to talk about the stats of the deck before we dive right in. So, Toph Rocks is going to be a Naya deck. It's going to be having an average mana curve of about 1.9, so it's actually pretty low and pretty nice. We're looking at a total of 20 creatures in the deck. We'll be rocking a total of 11 instants, 6 sorceries, 31 artifacts, that's a lot of artifacts by the way, 6 enchantments, and 38 lands. So, Toph Rocks, as I mentioned earlier, we're just hoping to see if we can get a bunch of value out of Toph here, the first Metalbender. It's actually, I realize that this is one of the cheaper Tophs. The other Tophs actually are a little bit more expensive, but we'll cover that once we get to the upgraded version of the deck. In any case, Toph the first Metalbender here, as you can see, is going to be Naya colors. She's legendary human warrior ally 3/3 that reads, non-token artifacts you control are lands in addition to their other types. However, they don't gain the ability to tap for mana. So be aware of that when you do use Toph here, but there are some great ways we can utilize these artifact lands, if you will, to get some extra utility. At the beginning of your end step, Earthbend 2. As a reminder for those that don't remember, Earthbend just means that you can turn a land into a land creature with haste. It is technically a 0/0, but you get to put +1/+1 counters on it based upon whatever the Earthbending number is. If the creature as a land dies or it's put into exile, you just return it to the battlefield tapped. So no matter what, we'll do what we can to keep our lands in place. Alex Ramirez here saying hi. Good evening, my fire friend. Hello, and how are you doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. Okay, so we're about to see, we're going to get started here. So we're going to try to blaze through this quick because I really just want to get through the gameplay as much as we can. So here in the 0 and 1 drop slot is going to be a lot of our cheap artifacts, because again, we want to make these into lands for very specific reasons. Mishra's Bauble here for free. You sacrifice the artifact, look at a player's library, then draw another card at the beginning of the next turn's upkeep. So if this can be earthbended into a land, and that means that we can kind of cycle this over and over again for extra value. You're going to notice that we kind of want that mostly with our cheap artifacts. We want to find ways to sacrifice them for value so they can keep coming back, and we can just keep sacking them over and over again as long as we can keep earthbending them. Oh, you're doing good? That's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that. We'll also be utilizing here Ornithopter. So again, flying creature here. You play Roblox? Actually, I do not play Roblox. It is not my jam, so sorry about that. Maybe you might want to look at another streamer that does Roblox. Actually, I have no idea how Roblox even works, but that's neither here nor there. I appreciate you at least reaching out for me still, even though it may not be exactly your jam. Michael Mayhem's here. Hi, good evening, my fire friend. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're having a wonderful night wherever you're at. You're just in time. We're going to be going over again our deck tech for Magic Arena here. Covering again the remainder of our decks. So one of our key engine pieces here is Zuran Orb, another free artifact, and it says sacrifice a land and you gain 2 life. So this again will allow us to kind of keep sacrificing additional lands that are artifacts, that are creatures, and just keep going through our whole deck and cycling everything we need to keep gaining life, stabilizing, and all that jazz. We'll also utilize a little bit of light removal here. So we have Duskrow's Reliquary. You can sacrifice an artifact or a creature, which again goes great with how our game plan is going to work. And then you can use it to exile a creature or an artifact. Fragmentize here for artifact and enchantment hate that we don't want to deal with. We'll throw in God's Willing here. This is mostly for protection purposes. Market Gnome here. Simple little artifact gnome here, but if it dies, you just gain 1 life and draw a card. If, of course, we can use this as a sacrifice, we can just gain more value out of it as the game progresses. Portable Hole here for more spot removal for exiling non-land permanents of mana value 2 or less. Restoration Magic here is mostly just to protect our game plan, whether it's one creature or our entire board, as long as we scale up with the spell. Seam Rip here, just the exact same thing as Portable Hole, but it is it's an enchantment version of the deck. Okay, bye? Okay, well, thanks again for stopping by, my fire friend. Have a wonderful evening, and always be sure to burn bright. Later. Continuing on with our one drops here, we have Clockwork Percussionist here. It has haste. It's a monkey little toy. I love this little monkey and what it does. If it dies, you can exile the top card of your library, and you may play that card until the end of your next turn. So again, another card you can use to cycle away once Toph starts earthbending. Speaking of additional earthbending targets here, we have Experimental Synthesizer here. Same thing, if it enters or leaves, we can then, of course, exile the top card of our library, and we can play that card to just keep everything going on. Goldhound here, we sacrifice this to add some mana, so technically if this can be earthbended as an actual land creature, I mean technically it is considered actually a mana dork if you will, so it does work out for us. We do have some spot removal with cards like Voltaic Surge here, doing 2 damage to a creature or planeswalker. If we sacrifice an artifact, we can do 4 damage instead. Haywire Might here, when it dies, you gain 3 life. However, you want to sacrifice this, of course, to exile a non-creature, non-artifact permanent, non-creature artifact or enchantment. Either way, does great value for us as we keep cycling through our deck. We do have some actual mana dorks in the deck, like Elfish Mystic here, Land of War Elves, and Gene Pollinator, so we can turn some of those artifacts into some extra mana for us. What game is this called? Oh, this is Magic the Gathering, and this is actually the client, the digital version of it. So Magic the Gathering Arena. Good question on that one. If you're new to this, thanks again for joining us. Hopefully I don't lose you with all the explanations I'm going to go through, but I still appreciate you being here just the same. All right, with the remainder of our other cheap artifacts we want, we're going to have Candy Trail here. When it enters, scry 2. Once you sacrifice the artifact with its ability, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Fountain of Renewal here, same thing. We gain some life. We can sacrifice this for 3 mana to also draw a card. Fountain Port Bell here just helps us again dig out a basic land. When it enters, you can pull out a basic, put it on top of your library, and later on you can sacrifice it for 1 mana to draw a card. Nutrient Block, just the same thing as Candy Trail here. These these actual food artifacts provide us a lot of extra value as the game goes on, because we keep sacrificing them, we just gain more and more value. Nutrient Block, however, is actually kind of unique because it is an indestructible one. So if you manage to earthbend this one, this actually can be a nice blocker throughout any part of the game. Soulguide Lantern here, we mostly don't want to sacrifice too often, but it can be great for Graveyard Hate if we can just keep repeating that over and over again. And finally, our last in the one drop slot will be Springleaf Drum. You tap any other creature to add 1 mana of any color. Going into the drop slot, we're going to have some more fun here. So we're going to have Demand Answers here. Use this to either sacrifice an artifact, discard a card to draw some cards. For, again, more spot removal for us, whether it's burn spells, we also can utilize Improvised Club here, and we also have Shrapnel Blast. Both of them will require us to sacrifice an artifact, but we want to do that in this deck. With Shrapnel Blast, 5 damage to any target, or Improvised Club here, doing 4 damage to any target. We'll throw in, of course, Piggy Bank here. Doesn't seem like it really synergizes, but it can be good for us. We can use it simply as a blocker. If it dies, it leaves it behind a treasure token, so it gives us a bit of pseudo-ramping. Since we are going to be utilizing a lot of artifacts, we're going to throw in Reckless Fireweaver here. Anytime an artifact we control enters, we can ping our opponent for 1 point of damage. Michael asking right now, is this for PS5 or Xbox or PC? Good question. So Magic Arena right now is technically on PC and it's also on mobile. So you can actually play this on PC, Mac, or mobile. Good question though. I honestly think, I'm surprised this actually hasn't hit Xbox and PS5 yet. Actually, I would think it'd actually be perfect on Switch too, in my opinion, because, you know, the mobility and all that stuff. Maybe in the future they'll actually add that to the consoles. Continuing on, we still want to also do some ramping here, so we are in green, so we're going to use Rampant Growth here, and Shared Roots to dig out some basic lands, put them onto the battlefield tapped, and then shuffle. Stump Stomp here either can utilize as a spot removal card, dealing damage equal to our creature's power to a creature or planeswalker we don't control, or it can be a tap land in a pinch. Gruel Charm here does several things for us, depending on which one you want. 3 damage to each creature with flying, or flying creatures cannot, or creatures without flying cannot block this turn, or gain control of all permanents we own. Redia here just helps us just dig through our deck with the Landfall ability. Anytime one land we control enters, discard a card, and we can draw a card. We don't honestly care too much about the summoning ability of it with the Saga shenanigans, only just because, again, that's not what this deck is trying to do. We're mostly using Redia here just to help churn through our deck. We'll also utilize here Boros Charm, does 4 damage to a creature, a player or planeswalker, gives all of our permanents indestructible until end of turn, so mostly what you want it to do for you, or give one of our creatures double strike until end of turn. We have some more artifact enchantment hate with Rip Apart here. It is sorcery speed, but it still can be useful for us, or if nothing else, it's spot removal for a creature or planeswalker. We'll actually throw in some real mana rocks here with Arcane Signet here. We have Energy Bending to then turn all of our basics into all land types, which can be good for fixing on certain card draws. Gleaming Barrier here, another one of our artifacts we don't mind sacrificing here. When it dies, it creates a treasure token. Ichor Wellspring here, one of the key nice ones here. It doesn't really do anything on its own. When it enters, it just simply draws this card, but if it does leave the battlefield, then we can also draw another card. Instant Ramen here, another food artifact for us when it has flash. It enters, it draws a card, sacrifice it later on to gain some life, along with Lembas here. This one, however, you scry one and then draw a card, and then if you sacrifice it, you can then put this back into your own library instead of its graveyard, so that's actually nice for us. We'll throw in another artifact rock here with Mind Stone here. It taps for generic, but that's fine. It still does its job. Sacrifice it when you need to also draw a card. Ornithopter of Paradise here is actual mana dork for us, so good for us for the get deck. And then, of course, we have Swiftfoot Boots here. Equipped creature will have Hexproof and Haste, so this is mostly going to be put onto actually Toph herself, just to make sure we can just keep her protected. Michael, I have a Nintendo Switch too. Oh, you do too? Me too! Although I haven't had a chance to really play it that much. Let me know what game you like. And actually, that is a question I'll ask you guys possibly for the end of the year. If we can squeeze in maybe a bonus live stream at some point, we'll do maybe one bonus live stream where we're actually going to do a non-Magic the Gathering video. So let me know, and I'll probably put up a poll on this one about what you would like me to see if you actually want to join me for an exclusive special members only video that will go up later on this year. All right, continuing on, we got to go to the 3-drops now. We're almost done, everybody. We have Beast Within, destroys any permanent out there, but again, it leaves behind a green beast creature token. This is perfectly fine for great spot removal as a catch-all option. Clifftop Lookout here just helps us just do some ramping. When it enters, just dig out a land and then put it onto the battlefield tapped. Cycle of Renewal here, we sacrifice a land and then we can dig out 2 basics, put them onto the battlefield tapped for more ramping. Earthbender Ascension here, when this enchantment enters, you Earthbend 2 and then you dig out a basic land and put it onto the battlefield. With the Landfall ability, anytime a land we control enters, put a quest counter on the enchantment. And if you do, as long as we have 4 or more, start putting +1/+1 counters on a target creature we control and it gains trample. So this can help us just build out one of our creatures to go big. Tale of Katara and Toph here. So this is another enchantment that says creatures we control have whenever this creature becomes tapped for the first time each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So we have a bit of a sub theme to the deck where we can put +1/+1 counters to buff up our team to make them bigger and bigger. Toph the Blind Bandit here, another one of the Tophs in the deck, but this is a mono green one here. So Toph the Blind Bandit, human warrior ally with asterisk and 3. When she enters, Earthbend 2. Toph's power is equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on lands we control. So this Toph can get really, really big if the game does progress and also nobody touches her. Sneaky Toilet, good evening, my fire friend. Bro, 6 a.m. Streams are a banger. Well, good evening. How y'all doing today? Hope you're having a wonderful morning or night, or I don't even know right now. I have no idea what time it is. All I just know for me right now, it's 8:30 in the evening. But again, hopefully having a wonderful day wherever you're at. Michael, have you seen Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the movie yet? If not, that's okay. I have not, to be honest, and this is something I guess I divulged this maybe a year ago on stream, but I'm not really fond of horror movies. I don't know. I don't like to get the you-know-what scared out of me. But that's just me, though. If you guys like horror movies, what is your favorite horror movie? Let me know in the comments below, everybody. I mean, I guess I would say maybe I do like zombie movies once in a while. But I don't know. I've been rather picky these days. I haven't had a chance to sit down and watch that many movies in recent years. Maybe I should really catch up on my catalog, if you will. But aside from that, we'll probably maybe discuss that another time. Otherwise, we'll continue on. We have Eternal Witness. When a creature enters, just dig out any card from our graveyard back to our hand. So it just helps us with recurring things. We'll throw in Bitter Work here, also because of for flavor reasons. An enchantment that reads, whenever a creature, or whenever we attack with a player with 1 or more creatures with power 4 or greater, we simply just draw a card. Its exhaust ability allows us to get a one-time shot where we can Earthbend for 4. However, we can only do this during our turn. Tenuk Memorial Ensign here. So mostly we're going to use this kind of like as a pseudo burn piece here. We have landfall. We're not a landfall deck per se, but anytime a land we end up dying, it just comes back. So we might as well use Tenuk here to help just ping our opponent and draw some extra cards when we can. Strength of the Harvest here, 3-mana aura enchantment. This enchanted creature will get +1/+1 for each creature and or enchantment we control. We don't have that many enchantments in the deck, but mostly, again, it's kind of like as a free roll because it can be mostly a tap land. Chromatic Lantern here. So once we can get this out, this is our best piece here because all of our artifact creature / lands end up becoming really awesome because now they can actually then be fixed for actual mana. So this is actually one of our key pieces we really want on the battlefield ASAP. Cookie, good evening, my fiery friend. How are you doing today? Yo, the stream is just starting. How are you doing, Infernoman? I'm doing great for tonight. How are you? Hopefully you're having a wonderful evening wherever you're at. Good to see you guys all on the night side here. Again, we're expecting myself to do a couple more of these night streams when we can because recently my schedule has been a little bit wonky, but it actually has given me the opportunity to actually do some night streams. So it's kind of nice to see you guys on the different side of the day, if you will. Okay, where was I at? Oh yeah, let's go ahead. Let's wrap this up. I want to get through the gameplay, everybody. So, in the 4-drop slot, we have Destined Confrontation here, a sorcery that reads, each player chooses any number of creatures they control with a total power of 4 or less, and then they sacrifice all other creatures they control. So this is kind of like a very interesting kind of wrath that actually is uncommon. So this is actually good for us if you're on a budget. It's a little clunky, but it actually goes very, very well with our deck because we don't mind losing our land creatures, and then we can re-trigger stuff with landfall shenanigans. So actually pretty nice for our deck. Earth Kingdom General here, Human Soldier Ally. When it enters, Earthbend 2. And then whenever you put 1 or more +1/+1 counters on a creature, you may gain that much life. However, you can only do this once each turn. Solid Ground here. When this enchantment enters, Earthbend 3. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on a permanent we control, that many plus an extra +1/+1 counter are put on instead. So it just helps us, again, just go bigger with our deck. Toph, Hard-Headed Teacher here. So this human and warrior ally version of Toph says when she enters, discard a card. If we do, bounce back an instant or sorcery card from our graveyard to our hand, and whenever we cast a spell, Earthbend 1. If the spell, however, is a lesson, put an additional +1/+1 counter on the land. Mostly we just want this here just recur again another one of our cards. And then finally, on the top end of our card, the last card we have is Bright Glass Gear Hulk. So this is an artifact creature construct. It has first strike and it has trample. That's actually pretty nice. But the real reason why you want this card, when this creature enters, you may dig out your library for 2 artifact creature and or enchantment cards with a mana value of 1 or less and reveal them. Put them into your hand and shuffle. So this is going to help us just dig out more of our cheap artifacts that we want to put onto the battlefield. That's mostly what we have it for. However, if it does die and it comes back as an actual creature land, that's actually even better for us because then we can keep reoccurring things over and over again. Great value and great for the deck. Now, as far as the rest of this goes, the mana base, again, we're a budget deck for the first half, so simple as can be. 5 plains, 9 mountains, 10 forests, and all the tap lands we can muster up. So again, Omashu City, Slagwood Bridge, Rustvale Bridge, Sunblessed Peak, Kyoshi Village, Thornlight Bridge, and we'll be utilizing here Sheltering Landscape. Cabaret Courtyard is our fetch, Command Tower is a staple, Demolition Field for non-basic land hate, Escape Tunnel is another fetch, Evolving Wilds also a fetch, Promising Vein as a bigger fetch here, and finally Volatile Fall, which works the same as Demolition Field. And that is the whole deck, everybody. Toph rocks on a budget for Brawl. So thanks again for hanging in there, everybody. Let's actually now do the fun part of this video. Let's go ahead, let's take this into the Brawl format, and let's see how well this deck can do. Okay, so with that, jump into Brawl here, and don't worry, we'll cover the upgraded deck halfway through the stream. We'll do that as soon as we can, everybody. All right. Michael saying right now that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 is not that scary. Has anybody else on the chat actually seen Five Nights at Freddy's? Are any of you out there actually a person that actually has played the games? The first one, the second one, the third one? I played the first one way back. I didn't realize how old Five Nights at Freddy's is, but yeah, I played it. It's still not my jam. I'm not the kind of person that's fond of jump scares, but I mean, hey, a whole generation of kids out there and fans do like it. So if that's your jam, hey, more power to you. It's just not for me. But okay, Cookie. Yo, the stream is just started. Oh yeah, you're back. Sorry, my thing glitched out. Oh, that's okay. Well, still appreciate you being here. Cookie, I want to see it, so don't spoil it, please. Okay, well, obviously I haven't seen it, so don't spoil it for Cookie, everybody. She hasn't seen it yet, so it sounds like you are a fan. Do you play, like, have you played all the games, Cookie? And I guess I would ask you that too, Michael. Are you two both fans that you've played all the Five Nights at Freddy's games? Let me know. All right, so while we're getting ready with our opponent here, our opponent is going to be playing Iroh Grand Lotus. That's cool. We will have Zuran Orb, which is nice, and then we have our bridges. The reason why for this instance we're going to be playing the bridges is, again, Toph is going to turn these into creatures where we can earthbend, and if they put counters on them, they are indestructible, so they can be great blockers at any point in the game. So that's actually why we want them. We'll play that. We'll play the Zuran Orb. All right, we should be good there. And we pass. All right, so once Toph gets online, this actually should be great. It's going to be a little while, though, so no big deal. Aang's Journey. All right. Opponent is digging out a basic. That's cool. Getting the ramp going. Your partner is a fan. Okay. So I guess I would probably ask, because maybe it's because I'm just an old, I'm not a boomer, but like an old millennial here that has no culture. What is the appeal of Five Nights at Freddy's? What made you all become fans of it? I would love to know. I'm just very curious as a person on the outside who goes, I don't get it, but again, a ton of you play it, so maybe I'm missing something. All right, opponent hasn't played anything yet. That's cool. All right, we got Rydia. That's nice. So with Rydia here, what do we want to do? I guess we'll... I guess we'll play her now. So if our opponent counters it, that's fine. Alright, so Sheltering Landscape, and we have Promising Vein. So we'll play the Sheltering Landscape. Okay, so we can discard for now, if we want to. Oh, opponent bolts away Rydia. That's a shame. Not a big deal, though. We can always bring her back. For now, we'll decline. So no real value. That's a shame, by the way. It's okay, though. Johan, Apprentice Sorcerer. I haven't seen this card at all. Wait, you mean look at the top card of your library. Once each turn, cast an instant or sorcery card. Okay. Huh. Neat card. I haven't not seen anybody play it, though, so I don't know what I'm expecting out of it. But until then, Sheltering Landscape. Sack it now. Let's dig out... What do we want to dig out here? I guess we'll dig out a forest. So that way Eternal Witness can be used if we need to. Toph the Blind Bandit. Okay, so this is actually good. Play the Plains. We'll play our first Toph. We Earthbend 1. On the bridge. And then we will... pass here. Michael, is this like a game of The Last Airbender? Good question. So... for those that don't know right now, the last set of Magic the Gathering cards is doing crossovers. So the last crossover of this year was actually an Avatar the Last Airbender crossover, which actually for me, and this tells you how old I am, this series came out when I was like 18. But I was a big fan of Avatar when it came out on Nickelodeon. I actually did watch the whole series, so it is one of my favorites. Oh, okay. All right, opponents. Well, the bridge does survive, so that's actually kind of nice. Opponent does swing. Alright, no big deal. Start your engines. Okay, so Springleaf Drum, that's actually not too shabby either. So we'll play the Promising Vein. Let's see here. How do we do this? We gotta get rid of this. So, I think we'll do it this way. Duskgrow's Reliquary. We will sacrifice the bridge. It does come back anyway, so it's not a huge deal. We take out that. And we will play Springleaf Drum. But then we will sacrifice that to take out the Shrapnel Blast. Nice! Okay. So 2 big threats are off the field. That's good. I will pass here. Alright. Okay. Michael. Well, the songs that people make are very good. And the new song that just came out for Five Nights at Freddy's is to the new song called Dance Forever About Puppet, the best character in the game. Okay. Huh. Cookie. I like the songs because I like the Living Tombstone. Not so much because they are in from FNAF. I'm weird, I guess. Avatar The Last Airbender was a really good show. I do agree. For those that still haven't seen Avatar, y'all should be watching that. That is an amazing show, though. But I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about the new one coming out. We are still a ways away. Alright. But until then, okay, Toph is now online. So Haywire Might now gets to do its thing. And we will pass here. But we can now turn Haywire Might into an actual land. So this means we can sacrifice it to get rid of artifacts and dimensions we don't want to deal with. Or at the very least, it just becomes just value for us. Okay, here comes Iroh. Okay, so now we have to find a way to get rid of Iroh. Okay, they're going to start getting value out of their deck. But I think we know what we can do here. So, our game plan right now, abandoned attachments, okay, opponent's going to start going off. We did do our Iroh deck last weekend, which it was fun, but we didn't really feel like we got the best value out of it. Maybe our opponent can do better than us, or at least it looks like it. Alright, they're definitely getting their card draw going. Oh, is Avatar all completely on Netflix? I gotta rewatch that. I could never get tired of the show. It's really well done, and I do love it. Yes, there is a new one coming out. So apparently, I think in, what is it? They said 2027 there's another show? At least that's what I believe. Okay, so for this, Zuran Orb, we'll sacrifice here the Haywire Might. But that's fine because the Earthbending ability does bring it back. Gain a ton of life. Nice. Up to 28. Okay. Ooh, Bright Glass Gear Hulk. Okay, that's actually perfect for us. So first, however, we need to get rid of their threats. So we will Shrapnel Blast. Bring that back. We will then... Here's how we do this. Okay. No attacks. So to do this... Haywire Might again. Okay. So the timing restriction now means that we have to... We're going to go on full control. There's a reason why. Okay, so with that, we will sacrifice this. Haywire Might comes back. No big deal. Opponent, do you have an answer? Hold on. Lightning Bolt. Okay, so Toph does sadly die. It's okay. Not a big deal. We just pretty much just bring her back into the command zone. We will gain a little bit of life from the Earthbend ability here, so there we go. Does come back. Shrapnel Blast. Octopus form. Okay. Alright, opponents. Managed to protect it for a turn. Annoying, by the way. Do I play Fortnite? I do not, actually. I have a lot of coworkers that actually do play it. Oh, okay. I'll just blow up all of our artifacts there so they get back a lot of their stuff. Alright, they're going to be going into card draw mode like crazy now, but we'll see if we can find a way around them. We will find a way. So, I guess for me, because maybe I'm an older gamer, for me, I didn't grow up with Fortnite, so because I'm older, for me, my game of choice was like always Call of Duty. So that was like my shooter game of choice. And I did play Warzone for a little while. There was a brief moment where I actually did do, on an older channel I shared with friends, we actually did put together a little Call of Duty compilation channel. I don't know if it's still up. I think it's still up. There's a couple of quick little compilations on there that I do like. So it's hilarious that they're still up. But just feels like, yes, Call of Duty just feels like it's on the down low. Not what it once was. Okay, we're at 25. Okay. Starter Engines goes to number 3. Okay, Rampant Growth. Okay, first off, let's Bright Glass Gear Coal. Let's dig out some stuff. Okay, so what do we want here? I think we'll want... Okay, we probably should get the removal. That's probably what we should be getting. So, Portable Hole and Seam Rip. Okay, spot removal aplenty. That's cool. Okay, so Iroh's still on the field, and the longer he's on the field, the more this is going to get tough to fight. But we're going to try. We won't give up. Price of Freedom. Okay. So that does technically give us a basic to work with. So I guess we will get out a Forest. Okay, so we got a little ramping. Cookie. When I was a kid, my brother had a PS3, and I grew up playing Call of Duty Black Ops 2. It was great. Oh my goodness. That was the best one in the series. No, seriously, that really was the best one. I loved Black Ops 2. In fact, actually, what is it? I tried to do a compilation video. This was again in the early days of the early days of Call of Duty, and also the early days of what is it? Well, not super early, but well, back when compilation videos were not a huge thing yet, at least in various games. All right, so Seam Rip here. So we got to start shutting down their shenanigans here. So that's gone. Portable Hole. Sapphire gone. All right. With that, we will play Rampant Growth. We need to get another basic. So this time around, let's get out a... Actually, we'll get out of Plains. All right. And with that, let's see. We can't really blow up any of their stuff. It's all basics on their end. So, I mean, that's pretty good for our opponent there to do that. We got some of their key pieces away, but we still need Toph to actually do stuff. So, still spinning our wheels here, but we're trying. Fighting the good fight. Also, did you know it's snowing right now? Actually, I did not know that. If you don't mind me asking, Michael, then where are you from? I only ask because this little fireball is in sunny Southern California on the west side of the U.S. So that's why, for me, snow's kind of a foreign concept. I know what snow is, but I mean, like, we don't really get snow in my area, unless if you're in the mountains. Cookie. I used to be so competitive playing Search and Destroy and getting the Easter eggs and zombies. Truly the best. Aw, yes. Ah, man, those were good times. I will say, though, man, I miss those times. I had a friend group when I actually used to work at, and this is this little lore for you guys here. This little fireball at one point was someone that actually worked at, I worked at Activision for a brief time. Okay, Price of Freedom. All right. I guess we'll get another land. So this time we'll get out a mountain. But yeah, at one point, I used to actually work at Activision. And I did use the game test back in the day. Way, way back in the day. But it was a great time. We did have a lot of fun with what I used to play in that era. Okay, so, dang, there's not really any value. Our opponent completely has locked us out of doing anything. Iroh here in their version is actually pretty nice. Okay. So, turn on the bridge. Our opponent is now just going crazy here. They're definitely getting all their value, and we just once again look terrible. Okay. We'll give this maybe a couple more turns, but I don't think we're going to survive much longer here. Our opponent pretty much has everything under control. So annoying. But yeah, I used to be... Cookie, I used to actually be a domination player. With our team that we played with at, back when I used to work at Activision, man, those were good times. We actually did play, okay, I'm just done with this. There's too much value here. We're not going to win this one. But yeah, I just did not want to sit through another 20 minutes of looping stuff over and over again. All right, moving on. But yeah, I used to actually, when I game tested, that was our team, or I should say, the people that I worked with actually taught me the ropes of Call of Duty at the time when I was still kind of green to the game and I had no idea what the heck I was doing. But they actually taught me a lot of important things that I actually learned that helped me out to make myself a much better player. My peak was during Black Ops 2. Man, I was amazing back in the day. But obviously I've fallen off, and kind of the game has kind of fallen off too. I played Warzone for a little while, but I don't know. I kind of got bored of that. So I guess I kind of have now just abandoned the first-person shooter train for the time being. But at the same time, we've kind of made our way back to Magic the Gathering here, which I now enjoy doing here and there when I can. At some point, though, we will try to see if we can maybe kind of reminisce with some old-school shooters. Maybe we'll do a live stream of the shooter where I'll do maybe a, I'll do a boomer shooter back in the old days. Maybe before all of you were even before even many of you guys were born. All right. Until then, let's see what we got here. So, let's see. Can't really play much of this unless our opponent... Alright, they're playing Giada, so it's Angels. That's for sure. I will mulligan this. Okay, that's good. We actually have the Arcane Signet. We have a Gold Hound. Okay, this is actually pretty solid for everything. We'll keep this. Okay, so first off here, get the Evolving Wilds out. And pass. Oh, you're in New York. Okay, you got a New Yorker over here. Do you collect Funko Pops? Not exactly. My collectible of choice, well, besides trading cards, is what is it? I don't even know what I collect anymore. I mean, besides actual cards here. Hold on one second. Let's get our mountain. Oh, we got an Ornithopter Powdered Paradise Dew. That's great. So with that, Arcane Signet, and we will play Gold Hound. Woof woof. Okay, so we got our ramp package now. That's beautiful. But yeah, I'm not big on Funko Pops, but I guess I'm not really big on figures in general. Like, growing up for me, plushes were actually my thing. I know that sounds a little weird, but hear me out. I do like plushes, but I think it's because, I don't know, maybe I just find them so cuddly and cute. I really do enjoy stuffed animals. That's actually always been my jam. Okay, Toph, going in. We will play the escape tunnel. We will sacrifice the escape tunnel. And then we will get out now our white source. So we get a plains. We will then earthbend the Arcane Signet. Okay, so we got everything going so far. So far, so good. Okay, Giada. They're doing the ramping with the Pearl Medallion. Cookie, really? That's really impressive. Thank you for your work on making the games better. Well, I tried to do what we can, at least when I did work there. Okay, so our opponent here, so we can't attack or block. I mean, that's not a big deal. We don't want Toph to really swing. We mostly just want that value that Toph provides. So, solid ground. We'll earthbend some more on the forest. And then we can earthbend a mountain. So now, little by little, we're building up our army of land creatures, if you will. Let's see if maybe these can push through angels. We'll try, though. Giada is gonna be a little scary, though. Okay, Emancipation Angel. Sheltered by Ghosts. Ugh, terrible card, by the way, but okay. So the only thing they can hit is our solid ground. Annoying, but not the worst. Okay, Ornithopter Paradise. It's probably going to come in next. So for that, we'll play the Forest. Ornithopter Paradise. It is technically now a land creature. We will then play Piggy Bank. So it's also now a land creature. And I think we'll finish up with Land of War Elves. Alright, we will Earthbend. Paradise, or sorry, Ornithopter Paradise. So it's a nice flying 2/2. For being a girl, it's weird to say, but that was the game of my childhood. I mean, there's nothing weird with that. I mean, granted, obviously, like, years ago, gaming back then for girls was, I don't know, I guess it was kind of frowned upon. We did have at least one female tester that I remember, but she worked on the day side. I was a night side person, so I never really interacted with her that much. Ooh, okay, we got the Haywire Mine. Okay, so this is actually probably one of our best draws here. So we're going to pass here. We Earthbend the Haywire Mite. So that's actually now we're going to be our key piece to start getting everything going. Here's how we do this. So with that, opponent. What do you got? Angel of Destiny. Okay, so with that, we sacrifice, gain some life. It comes back. That's gone. Angel of Destiny. Looking a little scary there, but we'll find a way to try to get around it. At least we're going to try. Okay, so big swings here. We will block. Well, I guess it really doesn't matter what we block. Okay. Okay, down to 15. Michael, also, if you can name 15 Five Nights at Freddy's characters besides Freddy, I will subscribe. Oh. I mean, you probably won't get that out of me today. I mean, what is it? I can't even name one. I mean, one Five Nights at Freddy's. What is it? I mean, the only way I've seen anything was probably like scrolling around random threads and forums and stuff. Hold on one second here. Let me see. I think, what is it? The only one I can think of, and I don't know why. I think it's just for the memes. What is it? Was it Chica? Is that the bird? The one that looks like, was it Big Bird? I don't know. That makes me sound super cringe, but that's, I think, the only one I could think of. That's one, right? I have no idea. If I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. But that's the only one I can think of. It's the yellow bird. That's Chica, right? It's the only one I remember. I feel like I have to ask my nephews this stuff. This is definitely something my nephews probably would know. Lighter promise. Okay, so we have to get rid of that quick. I did get one? Yay! Okay. Nice. Yay, let's give a little cheer for that one. Thank you, everybody. See? I'm hip with the kids, right? Right? I'm not cringe. Maybe I am. Okay. Opponent's swinging big here, so we have to shelter. Okay. Alright. Comes back. That softens it up. Ornithopter Paradise. Nice. Okay, so block here, Giada. Wait, hold on. Are we dead? Okay. Hold on. Can we do this for full price? Oh, nice. So we gain a ton of life back, up to 34. Okay. They put a bunch of counters on it. Dang it. I was hoping we would be able to soften up our opponent, but that didn't help out. So the Angel of Destiny kind of screws us over there. Okay. Maybe, I guess I put the wrong removal spell. And then we lose. Alright. That's a shame. That's okay, though, everybody. It's okay. I know we can make Toph work. We gotta find a way to do it. We could totally do it. But okay. Let me try one more time with the budget deck. I know we can get one win with Toph Rocks. If we don't get a win, actually win or lose, don't worry. We're just going to jump straight into the non-budget deck, which I think will be much more powerful for us. Maybe just a little bit? I mean, I'm sure I am. It's all good. I try to stay hip and cool with the kids. I mean, what is it? What do the kids do now? I'm the only thing I just will not do, though. I ain't doing no dabbing. And I refuse to do any of that. What is it? What's the thing the kids do now? The 6-7? I don't get that. Maybe you younger viewers can help me out with that. God, I sound so old right now. But seriously, though, I'm trying to stay on top of this stuff. And I guess I realize how, and this is something probably all of you will probably experience at some point. Trust me. It'll happen to you. You're going to get to a point where you won't have no idea what the younger generation are even talking about. And you'll be like, wait, I've become old. It will happen to all of you. I didn't think it would happen to me, but it has now happened, so I have to accept that. But that's okay. Not a big deal. You did subscribe? Well, thank you for that, Michael. I appreciate that. Well, if nothing else, even if we don't play the games that you enjoy on here, I still hope that you still can enjoy my goofy banter every so often. So appreciate that. All right, Cabinetry Courtyard. Sacrifice this. I think we'll get out the forest. All right, cool. And then we'll pass here. So now we're ready to get Toph back onto the field. So let's see if we can start doing some stuff with Toph. Hopefully this time around. Cookie. Isn't Dab so cringe right now, or kids still doing it? I think that was more of like a... What is it? I feel like that's the Gen Z. And I think the Gen Alpha kids are the ones that do 6-7. I don't know. I've lost track of all of it. But I'm sure some of you guys probably know what I'm talking about. All right, so first off here, let's actually put out Solid Ground. Our opponent is playing Sokka, so that is going to be another card that we actually played a while ago. Wow, we got quenched. Dang. Well, that stinks. Okay. Sokka, Tenacious Tactician coming in. We'll play the Command Tower. All right, so with that, we'll play... hold on one second. Why do we want to do this here? You'll have to Beast Within now. We'll Beast Within now. Sokka's going to go bye-bye. Sorry. He can't stay on the field. Or else he will hurt us. So our opponent gets a free Beast out of it. That means Sokka stays off the field for a turn. Cookie, I get you. I don't get the 6-7 either. I don't either. But... it's a thing with the Zoomer kids, so I don't know. It's just, it is what it is, everybody. It's all good, though. Every generation has had their goofy moments, their cringe. So it's just one of those things that I guess you start learning about as you get older. All right, so in the meantime here, Bright Glass Gear Hole coming in. Come on. Please let it resolve. Opponent, you do not have another answer. Okay, we'll pay the 2. So they get a lander out of it, but we get 2 artifacts out of the deal. So which 2 artifacts we want, though? I think with how the field looks. All right. Get the Dusk Rose Reliquary for now, and we'll get Market Gnome. So this will provide us, once Toph hits the field, a way to start utilizing our stuff. Okay, they sacrifice the land, so they can get a land out. All right, that's fine. Okay, opponent, what else you got? Michael, so if you haven't been to Ocean City, it's a great place to go for a vacation. Is it now? Is there any kind of cool landmarks to it? Or is it more like a city style? Let me know. I know my wife is always trying to find... okay, we'll lose the gear hold there. That's okay. No big deal. My wife, Mrs. Inferno, always tries to find places she likes to visit at some point. So, good to know. Okay, let's see here. We'll play Toph, the first Metalbender. So she comes in. Market Gnome. And let's see. Pass here. We turn on the Market Gnome into a 2-2. That's cool. So with this, we can at least block and start utilizing this to have a cute little card draw engine. Ocean City, New Jersey, you say. Okay. I'll have to make a mental note about that at some point. So thank you for that. Okay. Opponent, what else you got? Waterbend Ascension. Alright. Still haven't played with some of the waterbending cards. I've been meaning to do it at some point. Okay, opponent's going to swing. That's cute. We will hit the Market Gnome now. But that's actually what we want to do, because now we get a cute little engine going on here. So it comes back, and we get a draw card off of that. Nice. Okay, so with that, Mountain. We will... Earth Kingdom General. And this is nice, because now we can also Market Gnome again. That's actually nice. We gain some life off of that, and then we can start looping this over and over again. Thank you, opponents. This is going to be fun. There we go. Yes. Nice. So, Dusk Rose Reliquary. Sorry, Sokka, you got to go. Don't get me wrong. I love Sokka, but not this time. He's got to go. So we'll just keep bouncing him back and forth like this, and that should be a good way to lock out our opponent from shenanigans, at least for a little while. All right. And then with that, we can... let's see. What do we want to do here? We will... how do we want to do this here? Mind Stone. It does count as a land. Swing with Toph. So finally, Toph gets actually a first strike in here. There we go. Down to 22. We will Earthbend. Right. We will Earthbend or Mind Stone. And there's a reason why. We can sacrifice it later on to draw even more cards. So it actually works out pretty well. Sokka now costs 8 mana. So our opponent, okay, still tries to get Sokka to go. I don't blame you, opponents. Sokka's deck doesn't do anything if you can't really start swinging. Okay, opponents, what else you got? Okay, but don't try the escape room on the boardwalk. Okay, let's see. Writing that down. I'll try to make a mental note of this. I'm probably gonna have to ask you these questions later on if you're still there, Michael. So appreciate the good. Thanks for the advice on travel plans. At some point, I will have to travel a little bit more. This little fireball, it's gonna have to do a road trip at some point, or at least just fly some places. Ooh, requisition raid. Okay. Opponent's trying to pump. My addiction to the internet began with Nyan Cat and Trollface. Oh my goodness, wow. Does anybody remember Trollface anymore? I remember that back in the day. But, let's see. Okay, hold on. We will block here and block here. Okay, so if they do... Okay, so we lose the general. Not a huge deal, that's fine. We just want the tokens off the field as much as possible. So, alright. Shrapnel Blast. Actually, hold on. Not yet. Let's see here. We will play Goldhound. Woof woof. And we will play Toph, Hard-Headed Teacher. We will get back by throwing away the Experimental Synthesizer. Not a big deal. And now we have 2 solid ways of just destroying our opponent here. So, with this, let's see. Prophecy Edict Member. Okay. Nothing yet. We will pump that up and pass. Okay, nice. So with this, Goldhound has First Strike and it also has Menace, so we'll see. Does this all work out for us? We're going to try. Okay. Michael, because Area Z is not a good place to go. Area Z is one of those escape rooms. It's one of the scariest escape rooms. Oh. Ugh. I don't like how that sounds. I guess that's a question I would ask. So, going off topic about, like, magic stuff, since you guys are chatting about whatever, and that's cool with me tonight. What are your thoughts overall on escape rooms? I've actually never done one. I've been kind of curious to try one. Okay. But hold on. Opponents? Hold on. Opponents. Alright. We have to do some timing shenanigans here. If our opponent does not swing here, we Beast Within, and I think we can get around their stuff here for a moment. The only thing, however, is we also don't want that... Okay, so they do... So Tasaka goes bye-bye again. And then... Let's see here. Okay, counter on it. Opponents, do you have an answer? Anything? Anything. Ooh. Creature cannot be blocked this turn. Okay. Using the water bending. Okay, Beast Within. Sokka gets off the field again. What say to that, Zuko?
That's rough, buddy.
Don't do that. I really should be using that more often, though. Okay. So... Okay. Opponent's going to start swinging with their beast here, trying to get some sneaky shenanigans going on. Annoying, but it's not the worst. We do have ways of still getting stuff off the field. At least I hope we can. Okay, so... What do we do here? I think what we'll do is we could Shrapnel Blast. So I have an idea. We need to find a way to just kind of push through all this. Okay, opponent, anything else? Sokka's at 10 mana though, so it's going to be a while before they bring it back, but that's fine. You've never been in an escape room before, Cookie. Okay. I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's one of those things I keep debating about. I like solving puzzles, so that is my jam, and that sounds like something I probably would do. I like to problem solve. I'm a problem solver. Let's see. Okay, opponents. You there? Hello? Okay. Okay, actually, this works out for us. Okay, so we will... Wait, hold on. Can we do this? Oh, no, we can't, can we? Okay. I wanted to pop this, but, well, yeah, we can't. Okay. So the exercise, one of our options I was going to try here, but that's okay. Okay, we still have the stump stomp, so I think the way we can do this is spring leaf drum. And then we will... how do we do this here? Village. We can stump stomp here. Put a lesson on the goal. Shrapnel blast. Alright, so sacrifice the market gnome. Alright. There we go. Pump up the gold hound. Back. Nice. Okay, so that's off the field finally. And we can start putting more stuff on. That's good. And then no attacks yet. And then we can keep pumping up the gold hound. Nice. Wow. Our gold hound now is a first striking 6/6 dog here. There we go. That should hold down the fort for a little while, if you will. But our opponent is now out of cards, but we're also out of cards. So now it's just the top deck war. Who is going to win? Our opponent still can turn stuff off with Waterbender Ascension, so it's going to be annoying for a little bit. But that's okay. We have ways of still fighting through this. I know we can do it. Cookie, I too enjoy puzzles, but I'm more into programming puzzles. Okay, that's fair. We are running out of time, though. Our opponent's going to keep swinging with these creatures. So, dang. All right. Down to 4. So at this point now, it's going to be the race. I don't know if we're going to win this race. We're going to try. Okay, Bria. Okay. They ping us down to 3. So, this is it. Our turn here to shine. Okay, instant ramen. We will... pump here. Does ping. Got the forest. Ping again. Okay, Boros Charm. Okay, so with that... Okay. Maybe we have a shot here. Okay. Alright, I mean, we're going to lose next turn anyway, because once they start making these unblockable, we're just going to take the damage. So we might as well just go for broke now. Go for broke. They can't block the Gold Hound, so that is free damage to them. Okay. I think we can do this. Maybe? Alright, so here's how we do this. Okay, so full control. Give the Gold Hound double strike. Did we get this win here? Pump up the Gold Hound. And there we did, everybody. Yes! Victory goes to us! Yeah! Alright, opponent with a sneaky Boros Charm on a Gold Hound? Wow! Oh, that was good. Yes. Okay. So there we go, everybody. Grindy Toph shade maybe, but that is on flavor. That was beautiful. I love that. Okay. Okay. So let's actually now move on to now an upgraded version of Toph. I don't know how much more time I have left, but we're going to squeeze in whatever we can. Maybe, I'm going to be honest, maybe I can only squeeze in, it might be only a couple matches, but we'll do what we can. But there you go. We were happy to finally get Toph going there. I was really happy that that looked good there. So, now that you kind of see that Toph is definitely a grindy style commander, she can definitely get some good stuff here, but it does take a little bit of extra finesse now that I've learned a little bit more about playing her. So, let's now take this deck to the next level, and let's upgrade it with some much more power behind our game plan. So, this version here, obviously when you go big with artifacts, you can go absolutely bananas. So, we're going to be taking care of ourselves here with Moxes. So, Mox Opal. We'll be using, of course, more of the cheaper stuff that helps us get stuff going here. We'll throw in the Ozolith. So every time we lose counters, we can put them on the Ozolith, bank them, and put them onto another creature. So that's actually pretty sweet for us. We'll throw in Hope of Garapur here. So with this, you can sacrifice it and then force your opponent to be unable to cast non-creature spells. So this can actually lock out some decks out there if we can keep looping this with Toph and Earthbending. That's actually pretty sweet if we can make that work. We're also going to want to pump up with more counters. So we have Hardened Scales here. So this would be great for us to then start pumping up the rest of our team. In terms of other upgrades here, we have Crystal Barricade here. Gives us hexproof, so this is good for preventing damage to our face, and then prevents all knockout combat damage that would be dealt to other creatures we control. So this can be great just to kind of prevent ourselves from dealing with certain types of wraths, certain types of damage. For other upgrades here, we'll definitely throw in Badger Mole Cub, so you can't have Earthbending in the deck without Badger Mole Cub, so this is perfect for the deck. We'll throw in Innkeeper's Talent, so again, we're going to just go with more +1/+1 counter shenanigans. Ozlith, the Self-Shattered Spire, we're going to throw that in as well. In terms of other upgrades for the deck here, we'll throw in Tezzeret Cruel Captain, so we have a lot of artifacts, so Tezzeret will give us a lot of boon here with pumping up with +1/+1 counters. In terms of other upgrades that we want for the deck here, we'll throw in Redained. This may seem a little goofy here as it doesn't really look like initially it fits with the deck, but on the legendary artifact side, it can help us prevent some damage for our artifact lands. So this is going to be great for us to kind of just slow our opponent down and make sure we can get our win. We're now going to try to integrate the other Tophs. So we notice that I didn't put in the other Tophs. The reason being is, and this is ridiculous, this Toph here goes for 20 bucks. So that's why we couldn't put this into the main deck. So the upgraded deck can afford a Toph Earthbending Master here and Toph Greatest Earthbender. These are actually like really expensive cards, by the way. So they'll definitely up the cost, but for our deck, we don't care now because we're now going all in. Speaking of going all in, we're definitely going to throw in the Ouroboros here. This is also a bananas card, by the way. If you haven't seen this card in action, check out my Earthbending deck that I did earlier this week. This card is absolutely bananas, and I love what it does. We're going to throw in, of course, Doubling Season, so this buffers up everything. Doubling Tokens. It doubles up our counters, so it's perfect for the deck. And then on the top end of the curve now we're going to upgrade to the Great Henge. So the Great Henge here is going to be great for us. See what I did there? Great Henge. Great. You guys like those jokes. But again, seriously, just helps us again put +1/+1 counters on stuff, gains life, ramps for us, draws cards. It does everything. It's perfect for our deck. So we did do a couple of minor cuts here and there just to refine our deck to make sure we can start putting +1/+1 counters on stuff. So hopefully this will be a much better option for our deck. Now, in terms of the upgrading, of course, to the mana base, that's pretty much where everything else goes. Abandoned Air Temple gives us more +1/+1 counters. Arena of Glory to help speed up the process by exerting a creature to make it hasty. Boseiju can blow up land, enchantment, non-basic land. You get the idea. We throw it in there. And, of course, all of the dual lands that are now rare. So Commercial District, Stomping Ground, Elegant Parlor, Sacred Foundry, Lush Portico, Temple Garden, Jetmir's Garden, Sheltering Landscape is going to be keeping in there. We're now going to upgrade to stronger fetch lands like Arid Mesa, Wooded Foothills, and Windswept Heath. We'll throw in Fatal Passage. And, however, to make sure we can actually tap our artifact creature lands, we'll throw in also Yamivaya, Cradle of Growth, turning all lands that we control into forests. So that means they can tap for mana no matter what. So that's perfect for our deck. That is now the upgraded version of the deck. So let's give this version now a shot, and let's see if we can do some fun stuff with it. All right. So, again, we are a bit now on a bit of a time crunch here, but I will do what I can to play as much as we can with the upgraded deck. And again, as always, I do apologize for making it sound like I'm rushing, but I really just wanted to get this off the ground tonight before we were done. But still, thank you one more time to everyone who has shown up this evening. And even if you're watching live or on the replay, I still appreciate all of you guys. And as we get ready for our next match here, if you do like any of the content we do, if you like having fun with me on stream, you know what to do. Show some love and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you're watching the content, whether you're watching across X, Instagram, Twitch, or YouTube. We try to stream 2 times a week. We'll throw them a YouTube video at least once a week, and we pepper in some YouTube shorts that you can enjoy at your leisure. If you want to support us, of course, you can also do so by, of course, supporting our Patreon / members only portion of the YouTube channel, or for free, you can simply just join the Discord and chat with all of us there whenever you feel like. All links, of course, for all of this will be located in the details of this live stream once we are done this evening. So thank you one more time to everybody here today. All right, so we're now going to play with our upgraded deck, and let's see how much more damage we can do. So with this, we got the Lush Portico Forest. We don't have a red source yet, but we technically can make one, depending on what our opponent does. But our opponent's playing Go Shintai, so it's going to be Shrine Shenanigans, everybody. Let's brace ourselves. This might either go completely bad for our opponent or might be horrible for us. Who knows? It's literally when we play Shrines, it's either you do nothing or your deck is completely broken. All right, so in the meantime, Lush Portico. The Surveil, Demand Answers. Can't really play that, so I guess we'll have to filter that out. Surveil, what you got, opponents? Show me what you got. Blood to Strand. Okay. What'd you get in opponents? Fixin' for a triome? I'm guessing it's got to be a triome. It has to be. Ah! I knew it. Alright, play the forest. We will play Lembas. Okay, we'll scry one and draw a card. Okay. That might actually be helpful. That might actually be helpful in a bit. Crystal Barricade. We just need to get to more lands, though. Come on, deck. Show me some lands. Okay. So. Alright. White Lotus Hideout. Okay, that's a pretty good one. Rampant Growth for more ramping. Okay, opponent is getting ahead of us. However, we will try to still stay the course. The Ozolith. And pass. So, if they're going to be playing a lot of non-basics, Esper Sentinel, in theory, should be able to then draw some more cards when they can. Okay, so test champion. Alright, Harden Scales. So that'll be nice when that actually goes off here. So, Harden Scales here. Play the Hope of Girapur. No attacks yet. So, some way, shape, or form, we can either lock them out for a turn, or we can start drawing cards with Esper Sentinel. Or at least tax them. Okay. What you gonna do, opponents? Go Shintai. Alright. Let's start drawing cards. Swing. Yeah, we're so behind on mana here, so this is kind of awkward for us. Come on, deck. Show me some love. Where's our lands? We need those. Okay, newfound... Okay, Farseek. Not quite what he wanted, but... Okay, here's how we do this. Gleaming Barrier. Opponents. Okay, let us have it. Okay, Hope of Girapur gets their damage. We're not going to sacrifice it just yet. We need to wait it out for a little bit longer. Okay, still waiting for Go Shintai to come in, too. What will you do, opponent? All right. They shock themselves. Sir. All right. So that makes everything a little bit scarier, but we're going to see if we can try to find a way around it regardless. Does our opponent swing? They do not. Okay, they're just looking to pump things up here, which is annoying, but that's fine. This is fine. Okay, finally, we did get another land we needed. So we'll pay the 2. We will Farseek. So thankfully should help us now gain what we need. Okay, so for that, I guess we'll get out Commercial District. We can Surveil for 1. Oh, okay, Zuran Orb, we'll keep that on top. Clockwork Percussionist. So sooner or later, our opponent does need to start hitting us, so hopefully we can just start getting some value off of our artifact creatures. At least once Toph hits the field, we should be good. Okay. Monkey is out. Alright. Opponents. 4 cards in hand. What else do you have? Okay. Floating the mana. And more mana. And more mana. And even more mana. Mask with Nexus. Okay. Do you pay the 1, opponents? They don't. Okay, so freeze. Free draw. Any swings? No swings yes yet. Okay. Elegant Parlor. Okay, so with that, I guess we'll Surveil again. Seam Rip will be nice once we get to that. Okay. Well, we came here for a reason, everybody. We are playing Toph, so let's do it. Opponents. Opponents. Ah! Okay, it's fine. I guess we'll try again later. Play the Zuran Orb. And we will pass here. No attacks. Jeez, okay. Opponent had to have the 1 counterspell in their hand. Joy. But that's okay. Inquisitive Glimmer. Okay, so they cheapen their enchantments. Drawing cards. Okay, I'm just still waiting for our opponent to tap out. Maybe that's where we can start shining. Okay, Go Shintai. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Going off. Northern Air Temple. All right. Okay, they pay joy. So that pings us for 4, 5. Okay. Okay. Does their opponent swing yet? They do now. Okay. So with that, we're going to do a double block here. Actually, no, we'll just do one block. Freedom Barrier dies. So that does gives us a treasure now. Okay, so finally. Okay, so with that, play Toph. Okay, so that converts everything now to actual lands. So this will be helpful once the time comes. We still need to get around some things here. I guess we'll play the Jetmir's Garden. Alright, so no attacks yet. But here's how we do this. Okay, convert that. Alright, opponents. They sacrifice Marsh Flats. Okay, we just need to get rid of Zur the Enchanter. Or Eternal Schemer, I should say. Okay. Is there a way out of this? Or has our opponent managed to put together the right set of cards to overwhelm us? Guess we'll find out in a little bit. Okay, they're down to 24. Junkai Naturalist. So cheapening their enchantment some more. And card draw. Birds of Paradise. Ta-caw! Goshen, I have Lost Wisdom. Okay. Alright, paying us again. Lovely. Alright. Toph not looking too hot right now. Archon. Ugh. Okay. Is that it, opponent? Are you done? Okay. So with that, I guess we'll block the Percussionist with now. Okay. Oh, I realized I probably could have sacked that on the top there. Ooh, Ouroboros, that might be good. Alright. Okay, that's life loss. That's not damage. So Crystal Barricade won't help us there. But okay. Opponents, anything else? Okay, Boros Charm. So, Ouroboros. We will Seam Rip. What do we hit? I guess we just take out the Air Temple. So that's gone. And then start pumping up the team. No attacks. And then we can turn on... What do we turn on here? Actually, I don't even know. Well, I guess it's just going to go on the Lem boss. Okay. So, I mean, we have somewhat of a game plan going on here, but our opponent might already be too far gone for us to know. Alright. Opponent's got the free spell. That's it. We're done. We're done. Dang. Okay, Omniscience at that point is, yeah, they can cast everything for free after that point, so there's no point in sticking around for that. We're just going to cut our losses. It's okay, everybody. So with that, looking at the clock right now, it's getting a little tight, everybody. So I think this might be our final game for tonight, everybody. And I do apologize for that right now. I know we usually don't cut streams this short, but I also noticed that, yeah, so Mrs. Inferno is going to be coming home soon. And of course, I want to make sure I'm there for her. So we'll probably do this as our final game, and then we'll do a quick wrap up. So this will be it for us tonight, everybody. But thank you, everybody that has been here for this short but sweet one. Maybe I might do in the future like a bonus video that shows off Toph at full power without holding back completely. But we'll see if we can do that maybe in the future. Until then, all right, what do we want to do here? I think we'll mulligan this. Want to get our lands. Okay, that's good. We'll keep this. Opponent's playing Gisa, the Hellraiser, right? So opponent wants to raise hell. So, fair enough, opponents. We'll play this tapped. Okay. Arcane Signet. Okay. They're also getting the ramp going. So with that, we will play our Forest, Elvish Mystic, Esper Sentinel, and go from there. All right. Opponent, what you got? So they start at least removing stuff. We can at least draw one card off. Ooh, Sephiroth. Ooh. Can't have him stick around. Okay, so we're going to have to find a way to get around Sephiroth at some point. So until then, let's see. Okay, so, Toph. No attacks. Pump up the Esper Sentinel. Okay. What else you got, opponents? Aim for the head. Okay, we exile 2 cards, so that's annoying. But, alright, I guess that'll be the Instant Ramen and the Mountain. Okay. Toots. It's all good. No big deal, everybody. Okay. Doubling Season. Oh, that's beautiful. That is delicious. Okay, so with that, play the Mountain. We'll play Doubling Season. And from there, no attacks yet. Aw, opponent! Doubling Season was it? Oh, that was what did it in for you? I guess you could say.
That's rough, buddy.
I guess I'll take that, everybody. Okay, so, do apologize. Not the longest game, but hey, I mean, you're going to have matches like that. So, I guess we're going to have to end it there because, oh yeah, Mrs. Inferno right now is, she is calling to me. So, give me a second here, everybody. But we'll wrap this up here in just a moment. Sorry, I'm just looking at my text from her. So, she says right now. All right, so she'll be wrapping up. Okay, so Mrs. Inferno looks like she's going to be ending it for here, everybody. So we're actually going to have to cut it even shorter than I thought, but don't worry. We're still going to do a quick little overview of the decks themselves. At the very least, we got at least 1 or 2 decent wins with Toph here. So Toph rocks, everybody, here in Brawl on a budget and also a non-budget version. I know it was a very small amount of matches tonight, but what do you think of the deck? Would you play the deck in any way, shape, or form? To be honest, Toph, I feel like is good. But the issue, I think, with Toph is, I think Toph would be better in a 4-player free-for-all commander deck. That's not to say you couldn't do her here in Brawl. She's great, but it's because the way Toph is built, you really want to be grindy with her. She definitely can outgrind opponents once you start getting key cards off. So for example, with Earthbending, ideally, you want to be able to keep reusing cards like Mishra's Bauble here for card draw, or your Portable Hole if you want to start getting rid of certain tokens, or Market Gnome for also card draw and life gain. So that's kind of like where you wanted the deck to be at, is you want to keep recycling cheap stuff. But if you're playing one-on-one, your opponents are just going to be super aggressive. And that really doesn't feel like it fits Toph well enough to defend, because you really want to just take the time to just build up, again, mana rocks. So keep that in mind. I think if anybody was to play her in paper, I think Toph would be fantastic for free-for-all real commander. Just my 2 thoughts on that. Having said that, we did manage to outgrind our opponent and got 1 sneaky win, which was really good. We'll try to highlight that in a future video. So that was really amazing, and I was really happy that we got 1 sneaky victory against 1 opponent. So I was, again, really satisfied. As far as the upgraded deck, I know we didn't get a chance to do much with it, but in theory, this should be amazing once it starts going off. You saw with our opponent there, Doubling Season did it in our opponent. They actually did not want to deal with that. And Ouroboros can get us a sick amount of counters. Once we have that, we have Hardened Scales out. There is, in theory, a lot of cool stuff you can do. But if you do want to kind of play around with the deck and kind of see what else you can do, I mean, there's a couple other ways you can kind of build around Toph, if you will. So, as far as other ways you can kind of make Toph better, if you want to, other things I can recommend for you is, if you want, there's a couple cool things where you can do, like we haven't had a chance to do it, but in theory, stuff that you can do, for example, is if you want to, you can go really, really dirty with the deck, and you could do things like land destruction. Like land destruction by earthbending the land destruction lands, like Field of Ruin, or if you want to do, again, Demolition Field, and then start utilizing them over and over again to then just blow up lands, while also then bringing back your lands. That's a really dirty way you could play. If you actually want to sacrifice things more and more, or you can kind of utilize some of your some of your other artifacts for shenanigans. I mean, cards like Fomori Vault here. Other stuff that can help you with like fountain ports, things like that. If you want to just kind of start grinding it out, Ghost Quarter also going to be great for you, again, for more land destruction. If you want to go a landfall ramp package here, use your Evolving Wilds, your Fabled Passages, all of the real fetch lands. If you want to go nuts with it, that can definitely help you, again, if you want to go that route. Let's see, other routes you can take. If you want to do +1/+1 counters with Earthbending, Karn's Bastion also could be an option for you if you want to do that. If you want to get some incremental life gain, Inventor's Fair works really well too. There's a lot of cards I failed to put into the deck, but you kind of get the idea of, you have plenty of options with Toph, and I love what the card does. I just sadly just did not have enough time today to make it all work. But maybe I think we'll do a bonus video when I have some free time, maybe later in this month. Maybe we'll do a bonus video for members of the channel so you guys can see how you can really go all out with it if you want to get super refined. Other things you could do with Toph. I mean, you could proliferate also if you want to do that too. That's a little spicier, but that also will require a complete overhaul of what the deck is trying to do. Let's see, what else I was going to say. Oh yeah, there actually also is another way you can play around with Toph here. So if you want to, you can also go the burn route. So we didn't get a chance to play with Volakut, but thanks to Arena and thanks to Avatar, Volakut here also can give you a hilarious way to go off with a bunch of stuff with land damage and just burning out your opponent. Maybe we'll do this for a future video too. I have an idea for another land burn deck I would love to do, but this will be, again, another idea that'll come in the future. So that's another option you have if you want to play with Toph here. If you otherwise, I mean, you have so many options you can play with Toph here. I would definitely recommend, think outside the box of what you might consider as things that may not work with Toph, but they actually do really well. You have actually a lot more to work with Earthbending, and the fact that you can, again, reanimate lands. You can play with Landfall, proliferating, +1/+1 counter shenanigans. You get the idea. There's definitely a lot of fun stuff with Toph here that I would highly recommend for anybody. If you do want to see me try anything else in the future, maybe with Toph, or maybe a deck that's built around her abilities or Earthbending, let me know in the comments below, everybody, and I would love to hear from you. But otherwise, before we go for the evening, let's give again another quick little admiration for all of you, my True Fire friends, who are still here with me just for this short but sweet stream. So get a sneak peek as to what's to come for the next video. I did mention this last night, but if you weren't here for it, Grand's Lessons is going to be our next budget deck that we're going to be putting together. We're almost done with it, so this should be ready in theory by, if not Monday morning, Tuesday morning. So this will be our mono blue deck. I didn't quite get a chance to make this into a real waterbending deck, but maybe in the future we'll do a waterbending deck. I feel like waterbending might actually be better for a Brawl deck, but we'll talk about that again in the future. If you didn't see it last night, Freedom Fighters is up and live now. Check it out on the YouTube channel if you didn't get a chance to see that. We saw how much fun Jet can be if you actually want to play with him and his Freedom Fighters. As far as other future deck techs, I actually wanted to revisit Feather here because there's a couple of sweet cards that have been added in over the past couple of months and years since we played Feather, and I really think you can actually make a sweet version of Feather now with some of the upgrades thanks to the lesson cards, thanks to Avatar. Otherwise, the only other things I was going to mention is we have an Earthbending Infinite deck we might try to work upon. I don't know if we want to do the Pioneer version or the standard version. We're still thinking about that. We have a Timeless Burn deck that is brand new and completely free, updated from the one I played earlier this year, so we might do this as an exclusive. Basically, Slimefoot here is also going to be coming soon, so those are all going to be great for you. We're still going to work on basically Killian as another super cheap deck to put together. And then also a Taxes deck. Still trying to work on this one. It's still a ways away, but we're trying to basically build a creature deck that is going to tax our opponents with humans and also does some fun, dirty shenanigans with it, utilizing Mai as our corner piece here to burn out our opponent. But that's pretty much, again, just all up in the sky. We're going to try to see what we can also do as we get ready also for Lorwyn spoilers coming out at the beginning of the year. If you haven't seen the Lorwyn spoilers that have been out for the past couple days, check them out and let me know in the Discord what your thoughts are on the upcoming Lorwyn cards. But that is going to be it for today, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, everybody, and a shout out to all of you that were here with me on stream tonight. So we're going to, of course, give a shout out to all of you because I want to make sure that I can show a little appreciation, even if you were only here for a little bit. So shout out again to Alex Ramirez here, and again, Michael Mayhems. We also have Cookie, of course. We have of course, that Sneaky Toilet. Thanks again for all of you guys that have been popped in for this evening. I appreciate all of you guys. And of course, those of you that I see over on other formats, whether you're on X or Instagram there, thanks again for popping in as well. I see also Cookie Chan also. You're also there on Instagram too. So thanks again for that little extra support. But that is going to be it for tonight, everybody. Okay. Mrs. Inferno now is actually calling me, so I need to answer this. But before I go, we'll have a wonderful evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. We're going to see if we can try to stream again on the night side next week, maybe Friday and Saturday. But we'll see how that goes, everybody. But before I end it, for one more thing, I do want to say, as always, the final thing that's most important that I always got to get off for you guys. Just remember that no matter what you do play in the game of life, always be sure to burn bright. We'll see you again next Friday or Saturday, everybody. Later.